The international trade arena is now a battlefield, where every move is calculated and every decision can have ripple effects across the globe. With China announcing a staggering 75% tariff on US electric vehicles, the stakes have never been higher for automakers and policymakers alike. This move, unveiled in October 2025, escalates the ongoing trade war, targeting a vital sector of the American economy and sending shockwaves through boardrooms and government offices worldwide. For years, American car companies have viewed China as a key market for their electric vehicles, hoping to tap into the world's largest population of car buyers. But this new tariff makes those vehicles prohibitively expensive for most Chinese consumers, slamming the brakes on US ambitions in the region. The price hike effectively sidelines American brands, leaving them unable to compete with local Chinese manufacturers, who now enjoy a significant price advantage. As a result, showrooms that once displayed American innovation now stand empty, while Chinese factories ramp up production to meet growing demand. Tariffs, essentially taxes on imports, are often used by governments to protect domestic industries or to retaliate against foreign policies they see as unfair. In this case, China's move is both a defensive shield and an offensive maneuver in a much larger economic conflict. China's tariff is a clear message to Washington, a retaliatory strike in this high-stakes economic chess match, signaling that Beijing is prepared to defend its interests and respond forcefully to US actions. The impact is immediate and far-reaching, affecting not just the profits of American companies, but also the livelihoods of workers, the stability of supply chains, and the choices available to consumers in both nations. This decision reshapes the global automotive industry, creating new winners and losers overnight. Markets are forced to adapt, and companies must quickly rethink their strategies to survive in this new reality. The tariff story highlights the shifting landscape of global competition, forcing a strategic rethink for companies and governments. It's a reminder that in today's interconnected world, economic decisions in one country can have profound consequences everywhere. The future of international trade is more divided than ever, with barriers rising and alliances shifting, leaving the world to wonder what the next move will be in this ongoing economic standoff. Imagine trying to sell a product that, overnight, becomes almost twice as expensive as it was before. For American electric vehicle makers, this isn't just a hypothetical scenario, it's the harsh new reality they face in China, the world's largest and most competitive EV market. American EVs, once seen as innovative and desirable, now sit in showrooms with price tags that make even the most loyal customers think twice. A 75% tariff imposed by China means a $40,000 electric car suddenly costs $70,000. That's a staggering $30,000 increase, instantly pricing these vehicles out of reach for most buyers and making them a tough sell in a market where price sensitivity is high. Meanwhile, Chinese brands like BYD and NIO, which aren't affected by these tariffs, continue to offer high-quality electric cars at much lower prices. Their vehicles are not only more affordable, but also tailored to local tastes and needs, giving them a significant edge. For Chinese consumers, the decision is almost automatic. Why pay a premium for an imported American car when domestic models offer similar features, better integration with local technology, and a much friendlier price tag? This dramatic shift has upended the strategies of major American automakers like GM, Ford, and Tesla. These companies once viewed China as a land of opportunity, a place where their electric vehicles could capture a massive new audience and drive global growth. Now, their ambitions are stalled. Warehouses are filling up with unsold American EVs, and the dream of dominating the Chinese market is slipping away, replaced by the harsh reality of unsellable inventory. The impact doesn't stop at the showroom. The entire supply chain, from American assembly line workers building these cars to logistics companies shipping them overseas, feels the shockwaves. Every unsold car represents lost wages, missed business, and uncertain futures for thousands of workers. When sales grind to a halt, the economic ecosystem that once supported robust EV exports to China begins to unravel. Dealerships sit empty, shipping docks go quiet, and the ripple effects spread far beyond the auto industry. The tariff acts like a massive dam, blocking the flow of commerce and leaving American export plans stranded at the border, unable to reach eager buyers. The consequences ripple through the entire industry, exposing just how fragile global trade can be when politics and economics collide. Companies are forced to rethink their strategies, and the uncertainty makes planning for the future nearly impossible. What was once a promising and lucrative market for American EVs now feels like an insurmountable challenge. Cars gather dust in showrooms, and the optimism that once fueled expansion has faded. The ongoing trade war's consequences are far-reaching, forcing automakers to adapt, innovate, or risk being left behind. Boardrooms are tense, and new strategies are urgently needed to survive in this new reality. The global automotive landscape has been permanently reshaped by this economic conflict, and the future of American electric cars in China remains uncertain, caught in the crossfire of a rapidly changing world. China's 75% tariff on US EVs is a calculated response to US protectionism. The US had expanded tariffs on global goods, aiming to protect American industries. Beijing saw this as economic pressure, prompting a tit-for-tat response. Targeting EVs, China hits a high-profile American industry, sending a political message. This cycle of retaliation creates a dangerous spiral, escalating the trade war. While the US claims to rebalance trade, others see aggression. China's move shows it's ready to fight back, using the same tools. Businesses and consumers are caught in the middle, facing costly consequences. The trade war's end remains uncertain, with global impacts looming. With the Chinese market blocked, GM is rethinking its strategy. Once focused on an all-electric future, GM is now emphasizing profitable petrol-powered vehicles. CEO Mary Barra stresses urgency and discipline in adapting to market changes. The 2035 all-electric goal is no longer a priority. While EV sales grow, they remain a small market fraction. GM's profits rely on petrol trucks and SUVs, crucial for financial health. The company balances EV development with immediate financial pressures. Global politics force GM to rethink its roadmap, adapting to new realities. The US EV market faces challenges that go beyond just international tariffs. The expiration of the $7,500 federal tax credit significantly raises EV costs for many consumers. Combined with relaxed emissions regulations, the EV sales environment is now less favorable for growth. A new credit for US-made vehicles shifts the focus to domestic production and innovation. This policy supports American manufacturing, even if it may slow EV adoption for now. GM's CEO praises the new credit, highlighting its long-term financial benefits. The government prioritizes American jobs and industries, actively reshaping business strategies. The America First approach now influences car companies' calculations in the US market. Trade wars impact ordinary people, not just governments and corporations. The ripple effects are felt across various sectors, affecting the livelihoods of countless individuals. The 75% tariff affects American auto workers and Chinese consumers. This significant increase in tariffs has led to higher production costs and retail prices, creating a challenging environment for both workers and buyers. Increased US production could secure jobs, but the EV strategy shift poses risks. While some workers celebrate new production lines, others worry about job security as the industry transitions to electric vehicles. Future jobs are expected in green technology, but slowing EV transition may hinder this. The promise of a greener future is enticing, yet the pace of change remains uncertain, leaving many in a state of limbo. Short-term gains in petrol trucks could lead to long-term challenges. While traditional manufacturing sees a temporary boost, the long-term sustainability of these jobs is questionable. Chinese consumers face limited choices, with American EVs now luxury items. The tariffs have turned once affordable electric vehicles into high-end products, limiting accessibility for the average consumer. Reduced competition may lead to higher prices and slower innovation. With fewer players in the market, the drive for innovation slows down, and consumers bear the brunt of increased costs. In the US, the end of the EV tax credit raises car costs. Families now face higher prices at dealerships, making it harder to afford new vehicles. Tariffs on imported parts increase manufacturing costs, affecting all vehicles. The added expenses trickle down to consumers, making cars more expensive across the board. Consumers face higher prices, feeling the trade war's impact in their wallets. The financial strain is evident as people struggle to manage the rising costs of everyday essentials, including their vehicles. The ongoing trade conflict drives companies to invest heavily in U.S. manufacturing. Automakers are reshoring operations to avoid the unpredictability of tariffs. GM invests $4 billion in U.S. facilities, significantly boosting profitable vehicle production. Building in the U.S. reduces exposure to volatile global supply chains. Other major automakers follow suit, responding to new economic realities. Domestic investment reshapes local economies, creating numerous manufacturing jobs. However, building new factories is costly, potentially raising vehicle prices for consumers. The move to build at home is a high-stakes wager on stability and long-term support. Recent events signal a turning point for the global auto industry. The era of globalization is challenged by economic nationalism. Two spheres emerge: US-focused domestic production and China's EV dominance. Companies must navigate a divided landscape, developing region-specific strategies. This fragmentation complicates global standards and innovation. Consumers face higher prices and fewer choices in a divided market. The trade war affects climate change efforts, complicating the EV transition. The road ahead is uncertain, with global cooperation and competition at stake. Decisions in Washington and Beijing shape the future of the auto industry. The global automotive landscape is forever altered by this economic conflict.